Hi guys, Anne here. Thank you so much for joining me. We have some delicious energy that is coming in right now. It is just sublime, very uplifting, gorgeous, supporting us on this awakening journey that we are all on. You know, this process certainly has its moments of up and down, but when we sit in these frequencies that are coming in and feel the energetic highs, you really start to understand that this is really an enormously important point in time, and it is trying to show us and teach us so much for those who are willing to listen. So much of it is about unlearning things that we thought we knew, that we were taught that we knew, and it is being open to brand new concepts, brand new ways of being, and releasing ourselves from old burdening patterns that really cause us sometimes to feel things in a less positive fashion, physically draining at times. So we're really shifting out of that energy that sometimes isn't the best for us and working to clear the density and the space within ourselves, to really look within ourselves, to rise above that which we thought is holding us back. So it is rather impressive right now. We are so blessed with opportunity to create our own lives. We really, really are. If we give ourselves a bit of a slack, release the expectations of others that we may have been carrying around. Really key message I'm getting in right now is this, where we lost our power. So that is such a strong underlying energy right now, where we lost our power, where we gave away our power, where we're starting to really, so many of us, rediscover our pure potential, our ability to own ourselves, our own minds, our own creativity, and our own inner strength to accomplish what we set our hearts and our minds to. Giving away power is where we lose our ability to really be in charge of what we know to be true. So when we rely on other people to tell us what to do too heavily, that is where we start to lose ourselves. And this really, really strong energy right now is telling us that our true power lies within our own understanding of our own intuition, of our own feelings, of really actually knowing already what it is we are moving towards, what we already know, but it's allowing to trust in yourself, to trust in your own intuition, to take the necessary steps to stretch beyond your comfort zone, to stretch beyond what you thought you were unable to do, and to move out of restriction and into trying something new and realizing, yes, you can make mistakes, and that is how we learn. There is absolutely nothing wrong with that. So moving out of this resistance and control, and we're starting to really see that happen as well with a whole bunch of other people that are in our lives around us, as we release that need to hold on to energy for others. And this is also very strong right now as we say, I am solidified in who I am and mine and where I want to go. I do this with compassion and open heart, but I'm also very emotionally intelligent and know when there are energies around me which are not serving me, which may be projected connected and really watching where I need compassion and where I need more protection. So it's very cool to start to really understand how to use these energies that are coming in, these frequencies, and your knowledge of your self-work. The densities, I mean, this is also very key. There's a lot of density that exists within certain individuals. Now, some of us can feel this density very clearly, and it exists. Let me tell you, I am one of those people, and I can say that there is an awful lot of density on this earth. So many people are carrying around, mostly unknowingly, but it can affect other people. So knowing yourself and what your how you feel in certain environments is really important, because there are some people who are much more adept to working in situations to help others that are a little bit more challenging, that require a little bit more solidified energy, and there's others who are more adept to working more behind the scenes, who are frequency holders, who are knowing that we are shifting and are moving us through in another form and another way. So there is all kinds of team players in this exercise, in this collective shift into the new dimensional viewpoints that we are currently in. Now, the fifth dimension, as some people call it, has been, anchored quite some time ago. So we're continuing to really evolve into what that actually means, and this is a big change. I mean, it's really seeing things completely differently than we have before. So we're unlearning so much. We are unlearning the patterns of the past and what we may have been taught or told to believe is true. And we are relearning who we truly are. And this is taking us out of our comfort zone, what we thought was true, what we believed to be true, and it's moving us into this whole unknown, which is where we have to let go, release, and trust, where we have to realize that we are actually being supported here if we just allow. So another thing that's coming through is let go of control a little bit. We get so reliant on technology. And yes, it's a big part of this process and has helped us connect collectively. I know I have learned so much through my soul tribe all over the place in all different capacities that, there's so much to learn from each of us. Also, what we learn collectively. I mean, we are working on some of this stuff unknown to others, but known to ourselves and to all of those who are getting what I'm saying here. And that is where it's absolutely, it's beautiful, really. But it's knowing your worth and realizing that we can release that energy which does not belong to us. We don't have to hold on to other people's energies. As hard as that is sometimes when it comes to family and, relationships, sometimes the only way to see yourself is in isolation, is alone, is releasing it's like almost an addiction to some people's energies because they have become addicted to yours. So they want you in your life because they don't want to deal with their life. And I have said this many times before, but boy, is this ever coming out right now. So there's a lot of projection, or can be projection energy. So it's really about watching where your thoughts are going is also a very big theme right now. I mean, this continues to be so. As we try and heal some of those inner woundings, we know that our emotional well-being is driving so much and can drive so much of our physical body. This is so important as we have these ailments that come up that have affected us. We have to realize that our environment, who we're around, has a big, huge part to play in our health, our hearts, our well-beings, our minds, we are realizing that, this is all energy. So it's really important to know yourself. We're all different. We're going to have different energy traits. Some of us are going to be more highly sensitive than others, but that doesn't make us, weak in any way. It just makes us stronger in the fact that we are more sensitive beings. And we just need to make sure that we stand in our own power. Our sensitivity is also power. It doesn't need to be, power doesn't need to be anger and all of that. It needs to be strong. That's all. It needs to be strong, and it needs to know when it needs to stand up for itself and to walk away from situations and to just realize that shit happens in life and there are emotional aspects to that. And, the more sensitive people really need to realize that, yes, shit does happen, but you're responsible for moving yourself forward. And those who are sort of less sensitive and a little bit more brash, that are more mind driven, need to realize that sensitivity is not a weakness. Sensitivity is a strength. We're finding this more and more as we evolve into this new dimensional, very cool dimensional perspective. It's that which you need to work on is, understanding that being sensitive to your environment is in fact a gift. It doesn't mean we don't need to be exploding to the world about, who exactly we are at all times to all people. In fact, I believe that we should often keep what we're learning here as a special treat for ourselves. We really want to go out and tell the world, but sometimes it's this nurturing of self and this self-discovery process that you're really, you're just sort of enjoying as an individual is sort of kind of, it's fun. It's like a new experience every day if you can look at it that way. So there is also so many people on the spiritual bandwagon. This is becoming just commonplace now, which one aspect of that is so cool because we are all shifting and everybody's at different levels. But just a small word of caution here is there is this kind of aspect of cognitive understanding of concepts. And then there is this embodying, mastering these quote-unquote concepts. Now, one can read all the books and have all the knowledge and cognitively understand something and still be completely unaware that there is a higher consciousness, there is a source energy, there is something within ourselves that we feel connected to, like I do right now, that is really where you know that you have moved into these new perspectives. So be aware that someone can talk the talk, but until they walk the walk, which is the most important thing here, is to embody, to practice mastering some of these skills, which on the surface sounds easy to talk about, but it is really a massive shift that we're going here. We are evolving, and this takes new approaches and new ways of looking at things. Oh, and intentions, let me tell you. Oh, it's such a powerful time to set intentions. Now, one thing that I'm finding is coming very powerful and is picking up on how to use our subconscious intelligence. When we're in bed at night, a lot of times, many of us are having a difficult time sleeping. And what I'm getting is to not pick up your phone and scroll and turn on the TV to distract you. The best thing to do is to really practice using your intentions for that. You're already in bed, you're already relaxed, to try and face to face with what is keeping you awake. It can be the higher frequencies, which is fine. Figure out how to channel them within your body, where you want those energies to be constructively used, and also to shift intention. So there's a lot coming in right now in terms of keeping the mind working for you and not letting the mind take over you. And that is where we can really have conversations with that ego part of ourselves and say, hey, listen here, let's talk about where we're going with this. So we are really trying for self-improvement, self-actualization. Really the whole process here is to become a better person, because as we improve ourselves, as we feel better about ourselves, as we share that positive energy with those people in our life, it starts to expand out. This is how we collectively change the world. Now we know what we're creating here is what we bring to reality, is what we believe we can bring to reality. So there's some pretty heavy concepts that can be considered heavy that are really coming through right now for a lot of us as we embody the multidimensional perspectives here and the higher frequencies and how we're flowing through them. And it's also very cool. We continue to work through all of this. Just remember that you are exactly where you need to be. There's nothing wrong with you. None of us are perfect. We're all having our moments of struggle, but we just have to realize that we're all lovable. We are all good. We all are just there is no one here that is perfect as much as they'd like you to think that they are. It is, it's an evolutionary thing. I mean, this isn't perfection here, folks. This is learning from mistakes and learning from a lot of cases, pain. When we can honestly sit back and find the peace and the contentment in the chaos, it's when it's when you really, really know that even if that is only happening for short moments, it will happen longer and longer time spans, but we start to get those glimpses of possibility, those glimpses of living in joy, of just not letting our surroundings really guide us, of not letting others really manipulate who we know we are, really, really trusting our own guidance system of listening to our heart and our gut more than our mind. So shifting the energy into listening to your heart and gut space and allowing that to, in some cases, drive decisions. And this is uncomfortable for so many. So many. So the creativity here is impeccable right now. And that is how we co-create a absolutely phenomenal new earth. There's so much opportunity here, folks. As we know, there is a lot going on, but we need to remember to focus on that which is what we're striving for, which is peace and compassion and harmony and a very positive Gaia, who is, Mother Earth is where we live, and we need to care for and nurture her. So, prayers for peace and for Mother Earth. I thank you all very much for taking the time to listen to me. This is such an exciting time. Believe in what is happening. Realize that there are significant synchronicities that are occurring. Remain open to these energies to support you. So don't fight them, because they're actually there to show you something. The resistance is showing where you still have some density that is being stored. So try and work through this stuff on your own rather than projecting. It's one of the hardest parts of this is the shadow work aspect of this process of sitting with yourself, with the tears, with the anger, with the frustration, with the nights where you're in tears and angry. Sit with it with yourself. Realize that this is happening to the people around you if they seem a little bit wonky. Some people are dealing with this. It takes the most amount of strength to deal with this on your own and to not project it. And that is where you are growing the most. So don't be afraid of these moments where you can be lying on the floor in tears wondering what is happening to you. What you are going through is mass realizations and mass releases of stuff that you've been holding on to. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Channel it correctly. Be strong enough to realize that what is happening is releasing and it's helping you. Pushing that out onto other people is not helping the process. So when you see other people doing that, you can be supportive to a degree, but you can also walk away from it. Sometimes it's best to, when you're talking to someone, to ask them if it's okay if you just sort of need to vent for a minute. Some people, their role is actually to help people talk through this, to vent. Some people with higher ego energies are actually very good people to vent on because they don't seem to really have a reaction to you anyway. So be selective who you vent on. If you're going to choose that route, I suggest that doing the inner work and doing your own releasing is really where you start to see, even a couple of days later that, wow, okay, I have a different perspective now. I mean, that has been the case for me, and I'm fully willing to admit there were a lot of tears certainly involved in me going through this process, which has been for quite some time. So I digress there, but I think it's important to realize there's nothing wrong with you. We are just emotional beings and going through a rather phenomenal time right now. Just try and remember that you have the ability to pull yourself up out of anything. You just have to pull yourself up by the bootstraps and make it happen. And that's really all there is to it. Okay, folks, well, we'll continue to learn and grow in this very quickly changing, rapidly changing energetic space. It's very exciting, very, very exciting. So keep on keeping on. We'll talk soon. Bye.